All right, so let's talk about NXT from April the 27th, 2021. So we start the show with Dakota Kai versus Mercedes Martinez. This match was fine. I just thought it was a little long. We had some decent action. There was a one spot in this match where it looked like Dakota Kai was about to break her damn arms. But other than that, this match was pretty good. I was actually surprised that they let Dakota Kai get so much offense because I would think the point of this match was to make Miss Mercedes Martinez look as physically dominant as Raquel Gonzalez, but there was a certain amount of offense that Dakota Kai got in this match that was really surprising to me because I would think like when Mercedes Martinez been bigger, stronger, wiser, a little bit more dominant, that they would have just went in there and not squashed Dakota Kai, but made it a lot more one sided as far as how things should have went. But it was a good match to finish. Well, I didn't really care for the finish because again, we'll talk about this more later. But and here we had Mercedes Martinez and Raquel getting into it outside the ring. Raquel threw a punch, got ducked. Then Mercedes Martinez punched her. Then she slid in the ring and continued to fight with Dakota Kai. Then Raquel Gonzalez just jumped in the ring and kicked her in the face, and then just proceeded to obliterate Mercedes Martinez. And then it sunk. That's when it sunk to me again. I was like, is Raquel the heel? Like, is Raquel the heel again? Like, I was sitting here thinking to myself, like, obviously, I would think after they did this big baby face thing with Raquel and Rhea and Bianca Belair, and then it made it seem like Mercedes Martinez was going to be the heel, who was going to be the saying that Raquel Gonzalez is ducking her and scared of her and all that kind of stuff. But now it turns out that maybe Raquel is the heel, because she interfered in the match and beat up, and then the crowd kind of booed it. And I was sitting here thinking to myself, like, what in the hell? Why would you do that? That didn't make any sense, but I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much. But I liked all of this though. Like I like that they're putting some heat onto Raquel and Mercedes Martinez. They're getting physical. I just don't. I just think that Mercedes should have been the heel. That's all I'm saying. And maybe she still is, and it's just something weird about the way that they booked this thing. But I definitely think they should still be the heel. All right, so there was a lot of the way on the show, so we got to talk about the way. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart were talking about, oh yeah, we got to wrestle the way, and they kept saying like, that they're gonna the way have lost their way, and they then some flowers appeared, and then Frankie Monet makes her third appearance, and she reads the card from the flowers and says that, oh, these flowers are from Dexter Loomis. Which Ember Moon was like, oh, nope, I'm married. These are not for me. These are obviously for Shotzi. So she gives her flowers to Shotzi, and they go back and forth like, no, 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 it's not me. He's not after me. He doesn't want to talk to me or whatever, right? So that was fine. They were cringe on promos as usual. It is nothing short of cringe. Look, as much as I love Shotzi Blackheart, the howling and the cringe promos with Ember Moon, I just don't know, man. It's really hard to get through. So Bronson Reed is on his way to the ring a little bit later, and he sees Johnny Gargano near the entrance. I said last week that they do this too much. Champion and challenger stand at each other right outside the entranceway. I hate them. It's not that I hate this. I just feel like they do it too much. It's one of those cliche things that we'll talk about again in a minute. And then Austin Theory pops up out of nowhere and is like, hey, what are you guys doing in the dark? I got a match, and it was it was strange. So he's of course being happy and jovial and stupid. So the way is introduced, and Indy Hartwell is supremely disappointed. She's got the sulky shoulders and she's frowning and she's all upset. And during the match, they're trying to force her to clap and be happy for Austin as he's doing well in this match. This match went too long, by the way. This match was entirely too long. Look, I like Austin Theory. I wouldn't say love. I like Austin Theory. I like them in Evolve. I think that he's getting better. He's good. He's really young too. I think he's only like 24 or something like that. He's good. But they're not doing him any favors with the opponents that they give him. And of course, him always losing. The guy is just, he's a beef castle, but he's a jobber too at the same time. But I guess he's still in the doghouse for his antics. Let's put it like that. Let's put it antics. Let's put quotations around it. Antics. Online. Anyway, Indy Hartwell was the sort of the star of the show because Dexter Lumis comes out and she instantaneously starts, trying to avoid him, walking away from him, and he's just haunting her, like stalking her around the ring. She slides into the ring. He slides up on the apron. She's telling him to go away, go back, get away from her. And it is Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell, which caused Austin Theory the match. Because, here comes somebody, and Lumis gets knocked off the apron, and Indy slides outside of the ring, and Austin Theory is all in the way. It ends with a big splash. It was real dumb. Real dumb. Like, there was so many, I can't even hold it anymore. There were so many matches on this show that ended in stupid ass distractions and interferences. Why can't we just have a fucking match now? Why it's got to be 100 run-ins? Why it got people floating outside the ring? What happened to attacking people outside of the match or before the match or something? Do some shit like that. So why people got to attack during the fucking match? It makes the matches seem pointless. Like, we're going to sit here and watch 10 fucking minutes of this match, and then you're going to do a disqualification. Just random run-in. 5 or 10 minutes. Like, why are you wasting so much time? It's a waste of time. And it makes the matches seem like they don't matter. But in any event, Austin Theory lost because of Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis fiddle fucking around outside the ring. This led to the next segment where Johnny Gargano was complaining because now Bronson Reed gets a title match, and they blame this on Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. They say, this is their fault. It's not Austin Theory's fault. It's their fault because they're trying to steal Indy's man. So Candice LeRae is like, you see it, that she gets a full Gossip Girl. I seen them give him the googly eyes and everything. And that really kind of upsets Indy. And she storms off to go find Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. And they tell her to go handle her business. This is, of course, in the way, continuously manipulating the kids. And that's kind of been the story that they've been doing for like the last couple of weeks and a couple of months, actually. Where, back when Dexter Lumis was Austin Theory's friend, and then through the manipulation, they manipulated Austin Theory into not liking Dexter Lumis. And now they're manipulating Indy Hartwell into not liking Dexter Lumis. So that obviously means that they're behind the flowers. And in the next segment, because you have Jessie Kamea and Aaliyah getting ready to wrestle Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. And then at ringside, there are candies and flowers for Shotzi and Ember. And they, of course, go to retrieve them because they're dumb. And then they get attacked from behind by Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. And then get summarily beat with boxes of chocolate and candy. And they just get thoroughly tenderized outside the ring. Which, of course, then leads Jessie Kamea and Aaliyah inside the ring to pick up the titles and start dancing around as Robert Stone actually applauds this nonsense. For starters, he's wearing these shiny-ass Michael Jackson gloves, which are absolutely absurd. And second, how could you win a match when the titles were not only not on the line, but the match never started? So I don't understand what the hell they're so excited about. So it made no sense to me, but I thought that it made sense in terms of the story, because you do have obviously you have the LeRays, the Way, whatever, attempting to distract Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart and motivate Indy Hartwell. So Indy is motivated and kind of upset because she had a crush on Dexter Lumis, and now Dexter Lumis is seemingly sending flowers and candy to other women, you know, when she thought she had found a real one. She needs to go on farmersonly.com or something. But ultimately, this was okay. You know, it was all right. Man. Look, I already say it's too much Garganos. That's not going to change. It's too much in the way of Garganos, but it is what it is. All the dweebs seem to really like these guys, especially all the the wrestling journalists. They talk about the way, they love them. I just kind of like, eh. You know, I like Austin Theory, you know, and Indy was warming up on me too because you know she's playing her part very well. And there's elements of it, the Garganos that are okay. For instance, when they were, when Candice LeRae was making Indy Hartwell clap for Austin Theory and they were outside the ring being annoying. Okay, there's bits and pieces of it that's okay, but I just think they get too much time and they dominate the show a little too much for me. But that's just me. Let's see. Let's go back in time. We got a couple of segments from Cameron Grimes, who went to the jeweler, and he was going to get a new watch. So he goes to get a new watch, and he starts, putting fucking gold and diamond rings into his mouth, saying it's chocolate, and he wants the most expensive watch that he got. So the guy goes and gets a new watch, and he says that it's he talks about how it's a great watch, but it don't tick-tock. Because, Rollies don't TikTok. That was actual. There was an actual. Remember or not, there was a rap album called Rollies Don't TikTok. I think it was what was it? Not Doughboys Cash Out. It was some Detroit shit. What was these guys? The Street Lords. Yeah, Blade Icewood and all them cats. They had a rap album called Rollies Don't TikTok. Not really my thing, but it was just the first thing I thought of when I saw this. It's like, it's Dom Perignon ain't supposed to bubba. Or, rappers and stuff like that, they just know these things. You learn a lot about fine dining and wine and expensive jewelry. You learn a lot of that stuff from rappers. Anyway, Cameron Grimes, he bought a watch, and then he gets upstaged by Ted DiBiase, who's got $1 million watch. And Ted laughs at Cameron Grimes' cheap watch. Which of course sends Cameron Grimes into a frenzy because he's been name dropping Ted DiBiase for several weeks now. So I guess it was suggested that they were going to be feuding. Of course, they're not going to feud. Ted DiBiase is almost 70. Come on, man. He's got to be at least 65. There's not about to be a feud. If anything, he might have an advocate or somebody like that he advocates for that's going to stand up and fight on his behalf, which I would fully support. So I'm all in on Ted DiBiase doing something with Cameron Grimes. And maybe they do a big bet where, they do a big bank, take a little bank where, they have this one big match, maybe for a takeover or something like that. I think it would be perfect. Where they do big bank, take little bank. If you don't know what that is, that means if you got more money, you take the little bank, and or you could do something where they put an absurd amount of money on the line, and it's more money than Cameron Grimes has, and that's how we get to bankrupt Cameron Grimes, and that would be fun. Like I think like a big bet would be fun, like I don't know, what would be like a $50 million match. It has to be something silly because Cameron Grimes has been driving like the fanciest cars in the world. Buying these fancy watches. He's bought a mansion and all kind of shit. So because his wealth has yet to be defined, we don't know how much it would take to bankrupt him. Right? So we don't know if we can't say it's $2 million, right? Because that's just weak. That's a weak amount of money. So we have to say like it had to be like $10 million or something like that. So it could be like, sure, Cameron Grimes has, he's got $3 or $4 million. He ain't got 10, But Ted DiBiase also has an undefined amount of money. But we now can just go, maybe he's billionaire Ted now. and we can do where he's gonna, hire the best to handle this Cameron Grimes problem, and that could be very fun. And I could be all about that. Obviously, ain't nobody get like a 60-some-odd-year-old man to wrestle. That's not about to happen, and the internet needs to stop it. It's not gonna happen, Brody. All right, so the Grizzly Young Veterans did a promo. They did a thing. They came out and talked, and they talked about how MSK will fight anybody but them. And then they said that they called MSK knobheads, which I thought was great. I'm probably gonna start using the word knobheads now. And how they're the fire and the leaders of the tag team division, which Old Man Ciampa and Toothless Timmy came out. Toothless Timmy, which of course led to a Toothless Timmy chant. Ah, man, the crowds. That's one of the things I'm not going to look forward to when crowds come back is silly ass, dumb ass chants. In any event, Ciampa said that the two teams are very similar, that they're both veterans, they're both leaders, and they both want to be champions, and they respect Grizzly Young Veterans because they did beat them in the tournament. But they watched a lot of film on them, and they said one thing caught them, that they learned is the chant, the NXT UK chant of shoes off if you hate Gibson. And they tried to get that chant going, but people were kind of like, NXT UK? Huh? That exists? Is that a thing I'm supposed to watch? So, it's like, yeah, Zach Gibson, that chant was really fucking over. And to be quite honest, it took me a long time to even figure out what the fuck they were chanting. All I know is it was a bunch of assholes in the crowd taking their shoes off, shaking them at Zach Gibson, and it was funny. It was unique. It was funny, and now they're trying to transport that across the ocean to the United States. And it would, if they had a bigger crowd and a more knowledgeable crowd, I think it probably would have worked. And maybe they're going to try to bring it back by as they start having crowds and stuff like that. They're going to start wanting people to take the shoes off to shake them at Zach Gibson. But anyway, this of course pissed off Zach Gibson, so they started to fight. And of course, Grizzly Young Veterans, because they're the heels, they get beat up and they powder. Makes sense. I'm okay. I'm okay for this. Like this feud, this match, them running this back. I'm okay with this. This is not bad. So then we got Killian, Dane, and Drake Maverick, and they were prepping to fight Imperium, in which Drake Maverick fully believed that Killian Dane was going to turn his back on him. And then Dane told him he just needed to have faith. They're still doing comedy because Drake Maverick is, a comedic act. And he's always been, even when he was in TNA. He had flashes of seriousness, but he's mostly a comedy act. So they had the match, Imperium versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. It was a solid match. It told the appropriate story. I still think the match was too long. It was just something about the length of the matches on this show. And the story basically was that Maverick was paranoid that Killian Dane was going to join Imperium. And at one point, he was looking to tag out, but Killian Dane had been pulled off the ring apron. So he was all distraught, thinking that the guy had left him because he kind of guessed. He's like, I've been watching wrestling a long time. He talks out of one side of his face. I've been watching wrestling a long time. No, that's not going to work. I've been watching wrestling a long time. That's not going to work either. Anyway, he thought that, it was an old wrestling trope that he was going to get jumped. So he wanted to make sure Killian Dane went out there first. Dane was by his side the entire time. And, then that one time Dane wasn't on the ring apron because he got pulled off. And then Dane, of course, came back fired up, was taking the fight to Imperium to save his partner. Wolf had an opportunity to hit Dane with a chair. He chose not to do it, and Bartel was pretty angry about it. He kind of looked at him and was like, what are you doing? Hit the guy. If you're going to hit him, hit him. Wolf was kind of like, no. And it was kind of weird because Bartel is kind of the young boy of this team. And Wolf is like the veteran. I saw a lot of people saying, like, where's Walter? Like, look, man, Walter was never staying. Walter was never going to stay. Anyway, Imperium wins by pinning Drake Maverick. Solid match. I don't mind it. I just think it was too long. It's just something needs to be done where these matches need to be done in shorter spurts, you know. And we need to, maybe they need to be a little bit faster or whatever. Like I like Imperium, I like Eichner and Bartel, but I don't know. Like it just felt like it was too long for me, and I do want to know where this is going. So I don't know. I do kind of want to see like where's the end game for this. Now maybe of course we're going to go back and see that Wolf could have hit Dane with the chair, but he didn't. He chose not to. Maybe because he respects him, maybe because he likes him, maybe because he wants him to join Imperium. And that's what Drake Maverick will see and see like, oh, he had a chance to hit you with a chair and you didn't. He didn't do it. There obviously has to be a reason for that. And having Maverick be the one to break up the team because he was the one who put the team together seems to make a lot of sense to me. Because now Killian Dane wants to be his partner and Drake Maverick is kind of falling back because he thinks, but okay, I'm still interested in seeing where it's going, but we need to wrap this up within the next 2 or 3 weeks, or at least make a serious pivot in the decision making. So we get a Xia Li promo, a Tian Sha promo. It was in Mandarin. Have no idea what she said, and I have before. I tried to wait and thought that of the extensive wrestling community that there would be somebody out there that spoke Chinese and would be able to give me a translation, but I have yet to see one. So we'll all find out together somewhere what the hell Xia Li said in this Bohemian Rhapsody themed, this Fuji's album cover themed promo where she's speaking in Mandarin. And Mei Ying, of course, blew smoke. And I was like, okay, I'm all in on Tian Sha. I really am. And I like that they're taking their time. I see a lot of other people who are kind of like, oh, what is going on? They need to just do something already. I'm like, nah, take your time. Because there are so many other things going on NXT. You don't want to just throw this on the Barbie with everything else. Let it cook. Let it take its time. Tell the story you need to tell. Casey Catanzaro, and Caden Carter are still both gone. I'm guessing those two people are done. Or at least done with Tian Sha. They beat the hell out of both of them. And now they're going to move on. Are they going to win the fight for the women's tag team titles? If so, it's right to wait because now you have to. Are they going to be fighting Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae, or are they going to be fighting Shotzi and Ember Moon? More than likely, it's going to be Shotzi and Ember Moon. But we gotta get there. Let Shotzi and Ember Moon collect some wins, maybe move Candice and Indy out of the way. And then, then we have Xia Li move in for the tag team titles, and she pretty much wins them by herself, because she's a destroyer now. And she's like yoked and will like crush your legs and shit, which is fucking cool. And I think that as long as, people nowadays they want immediate gratification. And I think something like this, you do need to take your time with it. Because what do you do if you blow your load and you have no plan for tomorrow? Then you've blown the intrigue, you've blown the mystery, and you still got characters that are lost. At least here, let's say you have nothing for them right now, you still have a lot of mystery. So you can still do promos and vignettes and stuff like that, and people will still be interested, and it'll be like, okay, it'll satiate people for a little while, but you can't give everything away and then have no plan, and that's really what a lot of people want. They want there to just give everything away and then like, okay, then you have no plan. So then we get a promo from Swerve. Swerve basically says that, at first he thought Leon Ruff was a coward. Then he says that, then he was proud of him because he was glad Leon Ruff had the nerve to fight him, now he sees that he has that kind of fight in him, and now that it's clear that the ring can't contain them, he wants to fight Falls Count Anywhere. I was like, okay, cool. That's not bad. So we also get an LA Knight promo. I forgot about this because I wrote it on the side. Is that LA Knight also wants to bang Indy Hartwell. So now he's talking about mustache moron Dexter Lumis. Yeah, he beat him, sent him packing. Yeah. Then he says that he called Indy Hartwell a Pop-Tart and said that he knows he makes her loins tingle. Oh, this is so great. Okay. Now, this is interesting, right? Because, it's obvious that he's just doing this to mess with Dexter Lumis. But adding other characters to this quote unquote love story that's making it a love triangle or making it a love square or a love octagon, however we gonna do it, could be fun, could be funny, because Dexter Lumis is not the type of character that should even be involved in this. So having Indy hang out with LA Knight will actually make her cooler. It will actually add elements to her character. Because there's nothing she can really gain from hanging out with Dexter Lumis outside of it being just funny. But she can actually add a lot of character and a lot of personality if she's hanging out with LA Knight. It's a different character, it's a different, look, different presentation. I can see that. I'm interested in that. But I don't think so. I think it's just basically LA Knight's going to get beat up by Dexter Lumis. Then we get to the big oof. The big oof. Toni Storm versus Zeta Ramirez. Now, anybody who knows me in this channel knows that our cherry lip part guy is the apple of my eye. And she comes out there and she cuts this promo on Tony. I'm about to call her Tony Stark, Zoe Stark, where she talks about Zoe Stark, being made famous. How she's owed a thank you for making Zoe Stark famous. And says that she's going to be on a path to ending Zoe Stark, and every time she beats up this rookie, she's going to be thinking and pretending that it's Zoe Stark. So Toni Storm enters this match essentially as a jobber match. And she's Zeta Ramirez, for the record, for people who don't know, is a Booker T student from Reality of Wrestling. Her name is AQA on Reality of Wrestling, and she's actually pretty good. So I was not that mad, surprised that she won this match. I was disappointed that she won this match, but I was not mad because I was kind of like, okay, I like AQA. All right, I can dig that. I hate how they did it, though. How did they do it? Toni Storm was dominating the match. She goes for a superplex or something to that effect. And here comes Zoe Stark to distract her. Another distraction. Then Toni Storm falls off the top rope. And you would think that falling off the top rope on them thighs or that backside, man, she probably couldn't break an egg. You feel me? She probably didn't feel nothing. And then that 87-pound chick did a goddamn shooting star press. It was both ugly and beautiful at the same time. It was ugly because it looked like she wasn't going to make it. It was beautiful because she actually did hit it. She just hit it with her upper body. So there was enough of Toni Storm underneath her to say she didn't miss it. But it was close. It was really close. It was kind of a wacky shooting star press, and I think everybody kind of was like, and I was one of them. And I'll tell you this: at that 3 count, I had steam coming out of my ears, and I think some of the hair in my beard went gray. I was just kind of like, why is Toni Storm going through this? She really, and look, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. I can't be the only one saying she could be a big star on Raw or SmackDown. Why is she going through this jobber shit on NXT? Right? Like what? Like what is the point of this? Look, I get it. Again, I like AQA. You know, it's strange that she's getting wins before Zoe Stark really gets wins. Like Zoe Stark is still in that weird position where she got a big win, but she's still mostly a jobber. She just lost to Saray clean the previous week. You know, now AQA, who's been doing, or Zeta Ramirez, which oh god, what a shitty name. I'm pretty sure she chose it, and there's probably a reason for it, but that's a shitty name. Anyway, she has barely been on there, barely been in the company, and she's already getting wins. And I get that it's a big win, it's a surprise win. It's another one of those Leon Ruff moments where somebody wins out of nowhere, and it's obviously they got a lot of help. But this is not the position you want Toni Storm in. Maybe she's just eating crow because they know if she ends up on Raw or SmackDown, they're gonna push her, and things will change because they will have to. But I think all of the males that are looking at this stuff is looking at this and with their stroking their chin and saying to themselves, "You must be fucking blind." Like, clearly, if anybody's from this motherfucking show is going to be a star, it's going to be Toni Storm. Clearly. Nothing wrong with Raquel Gonzalez or Dakota Kai or Shotzi or Ember or I'm not even gonna lie and say there's nothing wrong with Candice LeRae. There is. She's devoid of personality. And there's other good women on the roster. True that. But how many of them have the charisma of Toni Storm? I'm talking about the physical fucking charisma. Like, she appears and people are like, okay. I like what I see. If for no other reason that she got buttered bread on the back of her goddamn body. Like what more else could you be asking for? Oh, she needs to be able to learn how to do wrist locks, so she can do wrist locks too, goddammit. But look at this lady. Now I will say this, I will criticize our Cherry Lip Park Goddess a little bit here. Her promos are not very strong. I will say that. Her promos are not the strongest. But, I mean, does the clapping of the thighs not speak for themselves? I mean, do they not speak for themselves, for fuck's sake? Let me get off this subject. Anyway, Toni Storm lost. I wasn't that mad about it. I was mad at first, and then I was like, oh, nah, I like AQA, so it was cool. And plus, it was, of course, part of the storyline. I just don't know why Toni Storm is in this position. We should be doing this with Candice LeRae. I mean, she's more of a veteran than Toni is. We should be doing this with somebody who's a lot older than Toni. Toni's what, 25? So we should definitely be doing this with somebody who's a lot older than she is. Anyway, moving on. Santos Escobar cuts a promo, basically says that no one gets over on him and lives to tell the tale. Then his boys said that MSK basically got lucky and that tonight they're going to make a statement. And then later in the show, SK thanked Kushida for taking them under his wing, showing him around, being the big brothers and being a successful big brother. And he says that MS Kushida, and they're going to win tonight, yada yada, being generic baby faces. No one of these guys got booed. So the main event of the show, Legado del Fantasma versus MSK and Kushida. This match was good. It was good, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Escobar powerbombs Kushida through the table, which makes the match essentially 3-on-2. Kushida needed help to get back into the ring. He, of course, didn't want to abandon his friends. He gets in there, immediately gets hit with the Phantom Driver. Immediately gets hit with Santos Escobar's finish. The Legado del Fantasma end up pinning Nash Carter with their finish. Solid as fuck match. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Was it a worthy main event? I think so. I don't know if, maybe other people might not think so. But I think I really liked this match. I really enjoyed this main event. And it was a clean finish. Somebody won and somebody lost. There was no distractions. There was the whole put you through a table thing, but that's part of the fucking match. You eliminate one guy and then, you beat up the other guys. So this was fine as far as I was concerned. So I didn't have a problem with this. And of course, Santos Escobar being in the main event is really good. It set up obviously a rematch between him and Kushida in the future. Also set up Legado del Fantasma to fight MSK again in the future. So maybe we'll get both of those title matches as some type of gimmick. That ought to be fun. I enjoy. I would like to see that. Why not? So Pete Dunne cuts a promo basically saying that the locker room is shook of him and he can win any title he wants because he's the baddest man in NXT. Oh, moon face. Pete Dunne, he has, I don't know. See, Pete Dunne should probably be the North American champion if we're being honest. Why is Johnny Gargano North American champion? No idea. No idea. They have nothing for Pete to do. Maybe Pete should be wrestling Cross or trying to wrestle Cross or trying to wrestle, what's his face? Kyle O'Reilly. Well, I think he already wrestled Kyle O'Reilly. He already wrestled him. So maybe we should be doing something with Pete Dunne. Him and Oni can still be hanging out and doing things. Maybe they could be in the tag team running. That could be fun stuff, even though it's like a third team of grizzled, physical guys along with grizzled young veterans and Ciampa and Thatcher. But, I mean, you can never have too many, worn tires, too many grizzled Charles Bronson type of guys in the one division. You can never have too many. Especially when MSK are basically just generic high flyers with no discernible personality. But I'm okay with Pete Dunne. I just think that he needs to be doing something. And a lot of these guys, it's just clear that, they don't have that much for him. And it's pretty clear with Pete Dunne. So we got the Diamond Mine promo. The Diamond Mine promo was an MMA-inspired promo that ends with the diamonds and taped fist logo, which leads everybody to believe is going to be Tessa Blanchard. And they completely missed all of the MMA stuff before that. It's like people saw the logo and was like, Tessa Blanchard, it's going to be Tessa Blanchard. And I said to myself, WWE is not hired. They're not based enough to hire Tessa Blanchard. They're too worried about what public relations and all that shit. Now look, they've resisted a lot of this stuff. Like, they didn't fire Austin Theory. They didn't fire Jordan Devlin. They didn't fire Velveteen Dream. They've been resisting a lot of the cancel culture shit, whether you like it or not. They didn't fire Riddle. Whether you like it or not, they've been resistant to a lot of this stuff. They're not doing knee-jerk reactions. And maybe waiting almost a year after the allegations come out against Tessa Blanchard, they would say, okay, we'll bring Tessa in now. Because everything will kind of blow over, even though it's the internet and nothing ever leaves the internet. And but you would think that would be something they would do. But I also don't think that you had at one point in time, and you still do. And I think this is a bigger problem. Not even that the whole stuff with, whether she's a racist or not, because, we know that Tessa had a bad temper. She has a bad attitude. She had a bad attitude in Impact too. And I think, to be quite honest, if you're a WWE, that's one of the issues that you really kind of use against Tessa, is the fact that they made her the world champion and she couldn't even respect them enough to come back and drop the belt. Like, that's how much of a penis on forehead she is, right? I mean, she's got like a pair of balls flopping across the top of her nose at this point. These people put their male world title on you and you said, fuck them. I'm not going to drop the belt. Pandemic or not. You should have been like, okay, look, this company looked out for me when, even though, people came out and said that I was a racist just hours before they did it. They still gave me the world title, respected me, and respected my talent enough to say, we're going to do this. We're going to stick to our plan. And then she screwed them. She fucked over Impact. At that point, that probably is why she's not getting a WWE contract, if we're being honest. Because this is not her. This is MMA infused. And it's probably going to be, they got a lot of MMA style people on the roster, Arturo Huas and, Marina Shafir and all those type of people on the roster already. There's already a bunch of MMA infused wrestlers. That's probably one of them, right? And look, I'm not going to be disappointed if it's not Tessa Blanchard because I don't expect it to be Tessa Blanchard. I think Tessa Blanchard swift boated herself with the way she treated Impact. Not doing business the way that it was supposed to be done is worse in the eyes of these companies than what you said supposedly to somebody in Japan who knows how many years ago. you know. And the stuff was corroborated by a victim who was outed. But you also had the situation, and this is where I was going with the earlier statement, that there were women who are on the roster who did not like Tessa Blanchard. And that's another reason why you probably wouldn't have Tessa on the roster, is because you're going to poison the well. You're going to have a lot of people who not going to want to work with her. I know some of them works in NXT UK that don't, that have worked with her before, and says that, oh, Tessa had this idea to say and that idea to say. Chelsea Green was one of them. She was recently just fired from there, but there's no doubt she probably still has friends in the locker room. So you have that issue with Tessa, and I think those two issues, the one is how she has her reputation with other women, is likely one of the reasons why she probably won't get a contract, and her reputation as far as how she does business. Her being like I said, a penis on forehead. So that's, a bigger issue than her, quite frankly, calling Rosa Negra a nigger or some stupid shit like that, or whatever the fuck she did. Because it didn't stop Impact. Impact didn't care. So I doubt WWE would care. And WWE literally has a dude on the roster that, people say is a pedophile. So, they don't have those type of concerns. They brought Hulk Hogan back. Hulk Hogan was caught on video. Now, he is Hulk Hogan. He is Hulk Hogan. He's the Hulkster, the immortal. You can't delete Hulk Hogan from history. You just can't. And that's the reason I don't mind it. I don't care. For starters, I'm not that sensitive about this whole racial shit. Who cares? And in Tessa's case, the girl who was supposedly, it was said to, didn't complain. She didn't try to get Tessa canceled or try to get Tessa fired. So she was over it long before other people did. Other people just brought it up to swift boat Tessa at a time when she was about to be, crowned queen of Impact Wrestling. But like I said, I'm sure that her reputation with her peers and how she treated Impact is far more likely to be the reason why she's not going to get a WWE look. This Diamond Mine thing is probably going to be at a MMA infused stable. Now, if WWE was smart, and they're not always the brightest. Sometimes they're Homer Simpson with a crayon shoved up their nose, covered in Nickelodeon slime. But they would get some like an MMA gym to sponsor, like send somebody. Like they got Dan Lambert from America's Top Team in MLW doing that thing, right? And he's hanging out with King Mo, and he talks for King Mo and stuff like that. They should do something like that in NXT, where they should have like somebody who can actually do some MMA stuff and let them be the voice for other MMA infused wrestlers, like Arturo Huas, who has been under contract for years. I think he's been under contract for like 5 years. But I think he's also Brazilian or something like that, so I don't think his English is all the way there. Just get him a mouthpiece. Him and Shafir and Chesaman Duke, they've been there forever too. Have to be like NXT's training gym where these people are coming in and they're going to do MMA stuff. Okay, cool. But it's not going to be Tessa Blanchard. WWE is not based enough to hire Tessa Blanchard in the face of all of the stuff that they will have to go through to get Tessa Blanchard. They're not based enough to do it. So get it out of your mind. It's not Tessa. All right, so the last thing we get to talk about here is Adam Cole. So Adam Cole cuts a promo, and eventually he's talking about, he's went through worse, but he doesn't make mistakes. He makes decisions. He made a decision to stop carrying Undisputed Era. And the Undisputed Era turned on him when they lost track about what was going on and what was about. And he said he looks at Kyle O'Reilly, he sees Kyle O'Reilly ain't ready. He's anxious and he's unsure, and the only time will tell if he's ready. But as long as he's there in NXT, he ain't getting his spot. Then he says that he wonders if Cross is even ready, because he talks about Cross's shoulder going out. And he said, was it an accident? Or was it a sign that he also wasn't ready? And, and I was like, okay. They actually did tease that he might leave the brand, that he might go somewhere else. He was out on this poolside patio in this black suit. Looked like a Bond villain, which is, always helpful if you're going to be a heel. But I do question if he's actually going to leave the brand, which he might, and I think they kind of teased the idea of him going to Raw or SmackDown. I like that they did that. But I would like for them to start showing like vignettes or something on Raw or SmackDown or something like that, just to tease that he could go anywhere. In any event, after the promo was over, we see that Kyle O'Reilly was watching, and he was less than enthused that Adam Cole was talking that yin yang about him, or threatening to go somewhere else and saying that he's not ready and all that kind of stuff. So is this feud over? It needs to be. It needs to be. I still think that NXT, from the watching this show, you can see that they're looking like they're dealing with a mass exodus on the way out. Because Adam Cole looks like he's 1 foot out of the door. Tony Storm looks to be 1 foot out of the door. I think Santos Escobar is probably 1 foot out of the door. Which means that the other 2 members of Legado del Fantasma are also on their way out. And I think that, normally after WrestleMania, they would have had call-ups. Spring cleaning and call-ups usually go hand in hand. But because they called up so many people last year, and because they called up Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley during the road to WrestleMania this year, they kind of delayed it. But I do think that people are going to be leaving by June. And I think that at least 4 of the people that I mentioned already are going to be gone. Like, I think Adam Cole is pretty much already gone already. He's just waiting for a spot to open. And I think that, maybe, God forbid, if McIntyre wins the belt back, then you'll see Adam Cole on Raw. Maybe you'll see Legado del Fantasma on SmackDown if the Mysterios win the tag team titles. And, I think it's inevitable that some of these guys are going to be gone. And I think they're just preparing for some of them to leave. Maybe Swerve, too, because he's finally going to have his blow-off match with Leon Ruff. And you know what? I'm okay with that because they're bringing new talent in, so it's time for some people to leave. It has been that time. And some people, of course, they're not leaving. That's been a huge problem with NXT is, sometimes people stay around too long. And I think that we can see that some people have stayed around too long. But the show was solid. It was one of the weaker episodes of NXT because there was no singles match I can really sink my teeth into like it was in the previous weeks. I did enjoy the main event, though. But there was a lot of tag team matches, a lot of women's matches, a lot of run-ins, a lot of, it wasn't my favorite episode of NXT, let's put it like that. But it was okay, But let me know what you guys think. And I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.